Gentlemen, folks, children of all ages, how the hell are you? Seriously, how are you? God, I wish you people could answer out there in social media world, but you can't. We have to wait. We have to wait till we post this for you guys to comment and make any kind of references to letting me and Vince know you people are alive. Are you people alive out there? What about you, Vince? Are you alive or are you dead inside?
Well, I'd rather not discuss that right now because that's sort of an emotional moment. But
Oh,
I'm
okay.
present physically,
Okay.
which is good.
Why'd you have to-
2020 is almost over, so
Why'd you have to get all morbid?
Yeah, right.
because you literally asked if I was dead inside.
Well, you guys, we are back. You guys know where you're at. The show with a contemporary sense of humor is where you're at. And Vince, we're not going to bring him in quite yet, but we have a very, 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 very special guest today, man. And he might feel differently. I don't care. This is my show, and I say what I want. He is technically our first celebrity guest, my friend, due to his credits. If you go to his IMDb page, you'll see this man has been doing shit easily for 20 years. And we'll when we bring him in, we'll definitely get into that. But I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm actually very excited. We've had a great guest in the past, very talented, and so no disrespect to them, but this is easily our most highest profile guest we've had so far. So very excited to delve into the many works that he's done.
Absolutely, man. This is going to be great. This is going to be fun. And he's actually a good friend of mine, and that's what's great about it.
Frozen?
I've been, yeah, you are a little frozen. You're frozen. Are you moving? Can you? Yeah, you are super duper frozen. Can you speak?
I can now. Yeah.
Technical difficulties, folks. Sorry about that.
There's going to be, and you brought this to my attention, there's a lot of technical difficulties on my side. Like when all these episodes air, like the syncing's out of whack, and I apologize ahead of time.
In other words, folks, you got to bear with us. This is a Zoom show. We are not fucking TMZ, so give us a break. But when we do post the stuff, show us what you think. Comment, DM us, whatever you got to do. And with that being said, I am the man, the master, and I am the ruler of the world. The game we play is simple. 2 men enter, 1 man survives. Oh, God. Sorry, that was my Psycho Sid from 1997 impression. I am the pie-eating, jabroni-beating, as said by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I am the wheeling. Ooh, look at my dance. I'm doing the dance. I'm the wheeling dealing. Woo! Woo! Jet riding, as said by Rickolas Flair. That's what I call him because we're close. I call him Rickolas Flair. I am the man with the master plan. I am the rapper, the actor, the comedian, and I am your grandmother's favorite performer. I go by the name of LAREN Maxstar Moore.
And I think quicker when I drink liquor. I'm the sidekick with the dry wit, Vince Eustace.
And you guys know, episode 6, season 2 of Popcorn
and Booze.
Where the fuck is your liquor, dude? I see.
I'm drinking water today. I drank a lot of booze last night. I had some popcorn last night, so I kind of taking a break today.
Did you watch a film? film?
No. I met up with a group that I did a theater tour with back in the day that I haven't seen in like 15 years.
Do you like the way I say film? Does it make you happy the way I say film?
Nope. Let's move on and never do that again.
Damn. Haters gonna hate. Ballers gonna ball. Where's that from, Vince?
That's not R. Kelly. That's Dave Chappelle doing R. Kelly.
There you go. Nice. A good pop culture reference. You guys, you know what this is. Popcorn and Booze. It is the contemporary show with a sense of humor. You guys, we cover so many topics, from pop culture to from movies to hibbity hop to music period. Sometimes we do it all. But as of late, we've been having guests. So usually we only narrow it down to one segment, one topic. And with that being said, Mr. Eustace, what is our one and only segment we're opening with?
Well, like you said, we normally try and do stuff that does like pop culture, entertainment, movies, wrestling, hip hop. And unfortunately, 2020 has been just a pretty terrible year. And recently we lost a very prominent performer in all those areas. Tom Tiny Lister, better known as Deebo from Friday, passed away recently. And let's just get into sort of celebrating his works. Well, so from what I understand, that how he died isn't quite certain.
They haven't announced it. Yeah,
we know that he did have COVID-19 earlier in the year. He beat it, and then he kind of started getting sick again with some sort of similar type of ailments affiliated with COVID-19. So it could be that, but we don't know. But rest in peace, prayers to his family and his legions of fans across the world. Man, this guy was I looked up his IMDb. He was like in 220. It's like 220 credits.
Talk about credits, man. Yeah, he did it, dude. For easily 30, maybe even 40 years, he's had a lengthy career. He has been, it's funny. He was contemporary enough to where, people of the non-African American persuasion knew who he was as well. With successes as Friday, he was in The Fifth Element. He was in enough big movies to where he kind of crossed over, quote unquote. Which is a term I don't really like to use because it's like black people shouldn't be crossing over into anything. But the era he comes from, there were certain things you did as a person of color that kind of brought you in front of that white audience. But my point of saying this is he was definitely more than anything just a staple in the African American community as far as entertainment. Like he was our hood Jesus. Like every black movie, or your black friend knows, or your black mama, your sister, he was in that. Whether he had a major part or a small part, he always was the go-to muscle hood dude in every movie. And the first time, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The first time
I cut you off.
No, you're good. The first time I noticed him was I was a very, very, very small child. I did not know who he was. I only knew him as, and Vince, you probably know where I'm going with this. I only knew him as this big, cockeyed, scary-looking man named Zeus from the movie, which is an awful, terrible film, by the way. It's the stupidest fucking movie, but it was a childhood staple. Like if you were a wrestling fan as a kid, you loved No Holds Barred. Stupid as that fucking movie was, but you knew him from that movie, and because of the success of his character in that movie, he did an actual run in the WWE at the time, WWF. If you want to kind of talk about that a little bit, man. I mean, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, he was frightening. Like he was someone like I like to think we were all Hulkamaniacs growing up, especially at that age. Like he was our Superman. Well, I was definitely a Hulkamaniac.
I was
favorite.
I was. He kind of ruined that.
No. He's kind of shown his cards lately. But back in like the 80s and the early 90s, it was all Hulk Hogan. And he was Superman, like he couldn't be defeated. So in the movie, and then also in WWF at the time, here was a guy who was just as big, if not bigger, just as strong, if not stronger, and he was mean. I remember when he stood in front of the cage before Hogan was going to fight Boss Man, and just like staring at him, and then he like kicked him in the chest, and then his big move, besides the bear hug, was just like pounding on his back, and we're just like sitting there like, oh my god, it's like watching your dad get beat up or something, except if your dad was like Superman.
Yeah, he said in multiple interviews that I've seen, I've been watching interviews by him over the past few years, but as of lately, since he passed away, and it's kind of a tearjerker. It's really hard. Anytime somebody you grew up on passes away, when you recap on this stuff, it's I don't know how it is for you, but it's so hard to watch. It really is. And like I was watching an interview where he made a joke about how people were literally so scared of him, like little kids would run away from him. Like and this is back during where kayfabe was like serious. They never broke character. Kayfabe was a very serious thing. They never broke gimmick. So he just said in the interview how like little kids would run from him. People really genuinely, and there's a difference, and we've talked about it. There's a difference between just having heel heat and being really unanimously hated. People hated him because of how he used to beat Hulk Hogan's ass. So they're like, this big black dude. He made a point of saying they were scared. The big black dude was beating up their white hero. He said this in the interview.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But
that's exactly what it was.
No, he was. Another sad thing to point out is the fact that he is now the second cast member of Friday to pass away after John Witherspoon, who is no longer with us as well.
You mean this year? Because there are plenty. There's like Bernie Mac, Michael Clark. Duncan,
as of this year, as of this year.
Wait, I think Yvette Wilson. I think I saw her name in the credits as well, and she may have passed away this year too.
Yeah,
I think she passed away like within not this month, but within like 30 days. So yeah, it's been rough. I just want to touch on this real quick before we get back into his film work and his wrestling. I read up that he was a born again Christian and he took that very seriously and like was like a minister, and he and his wife would basically go across the country and do like ministries and just like reach out to like troubled youth and tell them like his stories. And I mean, from what I understand, he's like a pretty good dude growing up. Like he stayed away from like a lot of trouble, but he was like kind of an inspirational person. So like you said, not only was he in the community based on his art, but he was like physically in the community, just like trying to help people.
No, he rode the wave of that Zeus and Deebo character all the way to his passing. Like whenever he made appearances, even in films, he still, and it was kind of like he was typecasted, but it was like a lot of people that wanted him in their films wanted him to play either a Deebo-esque type character or a Zeus type character. And he rode that wave all the way to the end, dude, to where people actually were scared of him. But from what I understand, he was a big teddy bear. He was a sweet man, and nobody has nothing bad to say about him.
And it worked really well having that bully mentality, like that sort of typecast in Dark Knight when they were on the boats. And the prisoners were like, you got to blow up these people. And the people were like, we got to blow up the prisoners. And he stepped up and he was like, went to the warden or whatever and was like, give it to me and I'll do what you should have done a while ago. And it was so threatening because him as a guy who's like scary. And then he did the right thing and threw it away and was like, oh, but it like Nolan just timed it so well, cast him perfectly. And he did, not to say you were surprised he did a good job because he was good in other things, but just see him really be like, just kind of pull your, not heartstrings, but just like really delve into like quiet intensity, which we don't really get to see in some of his other works.
No, I absolutely agree. And it's funny, he did an interview with your favorite person, DJ Vlad. Vince's favorite person. We'll save that for another episode, getting into DJ Vlad and his bullshit. But he did a really good interview with him, and in the interview, he made a point of saying that that's not him. Deebo's not him. He said he pulled that character from a person named Big U, who was this big, mean, bullyish Crip, because he's from Compton. And he went to Compton High, and there was this big bully. He was a Crip. He was a gangbanger. He was a Crip. He was a big bully motherfucker. He used to snatch chains, and he said he pulled that character from Big U. So that just highlighted how, the interviewer, I think it was Vlad, asked him, like, how much of you how much of you and Deebo was alike? And he was like, man, I pulled that character from Big U. He was like that, he's like, I'm a big softy, man. I'm a big, not a softy, but he was like, I'm a big teddy bear. I'm a nice dude. But let's get into a couple of his works. Let's talk about he was in The Fifth Element. I don't know if you remember that. He played the president, right? He was the president in that movie. And that's interesting because I think that's the tamest role I've ever seen him in. He was a sweetheart in that movie. Like, he had to play this admirable president. I was like, wow, what the fuck happened to Deebo? He goes to space and now he's a Christian. What's going on here? Now he's the nice guy. Snatch some alien's chain or something, motherfucker. The blue bitch, the blue singing bitch. Go snatch her chain. Go snatch her chain. What did you think about that, man? I mean, we don't have to get into a long thing, but what was, what do you remember about his performance?
I remember him in Meteor Man as one of the Golden Lords.
That's right.
And I remember, I still think it's hilarious. When he tried to punch Robert Townsend, like the first time,
he broke his hand,
shattered his arm. So he spends like the entire movie in a cast, and then there's that big brawl at the end. and Meteor Man's got his powers back, and everyone's just fighting, and he's just sitting there, and he's just like, you see him just like sort of like petting his cast, and he's itching.
He
and
rips it off.
And he like rips it off, and he's like, Grah! And then he like punches Meteor Man again and like breaks every bone in his body.
Re-breaks everything.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
Now there was a thing he did.
He was also sorry, real quick. He was also in the Michael Jackson "Remember the Time" video, which I was obviously we've talked about how I'm a big Michael.
He's one of the
Jackson
bodyguards.
fan, so.
He was one of the bodyguards. So. That's right. That's right. Now there was a film he did that I'm not exactly proud to say that I watched. I've actually seen all three of them. There was a very bored point in time in my life where I was just like, I'm gonna watch these ridiculous fucking crazy ass disturbing movies. But he was in the Human Centipede 3.
I saw that on his credit. I saw that on his credits.
And I watched that, and wow, yeah, not some of his best work, but that whole fucking series, especially that third one, I couldn't believe that something like that was put on film. When just for the disturbing factor alone, and just to show you how crazy and outlandish and how much of a fuck. Not a fuck. The creator of that, I think his name is Tom Six. He's a Dutch filmmaker. The Dutch are weird. No disrespect to Dutch people. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, that kind of represents the Dutch. But if you guys get a chance, just watch that shit. It is the most. And Deebo's in it. And I think at one point, from what I remember, he becomes a part of this 500 chain centipede. It's not pretty to watch.
I mean, I think we can go on. I think we can go on and on. Like we can do like a 2-hour episode on him. But rest in peace. I'll just say that, and then if you want to add anything else, and then we'll probably head into the main event.
No, absolutely, man. Rest in peace to that dude. I grew up on him from wrestling. You made a point when you actually texted me that we wanted to discuss his death. It really dawned on me, and you reminded me that this man has been a staple in every single genre that's imaginable entertainment wise, from wrestling to acting to he's been in a bunch of music videos. He's been all over television. He's had quite the career, man. And rest in peace to him, man. He was a young man too, 62. That's horrible when you hear about somebody passing away that young. I mean, 62 is relatively young for somebody. So his life was definitely cut short. And R.I.P. to you, Deebo. I'll see you when I get there, man. Tiny Zeus Lester Jr. He was a junior. So we got to acknowledge that. Rest in peace to you, man. And with that being said, it is time for the main event. Real quick backstory. I always like to give a backstory of friends of mine. And I always like to give a backstory of the guests we bring on. Because I have personal relationships. The past 3 guests we've had, I've had a personal relationship with. So I always like to tell the backstory of how I met them. So about 15 years ago, and hopefully we've talked about this, hopefully he'll remember this. About 15 years ago, I was at a place called Saddle Ranch, which I tried to mansplain to you earlier.
It's not mansplaining. You're just like, you're just talking like, there's a place called Saddle Ranch. It's like,
it was a Thursday. It was a Thursday.
It was a Thursday. Yeah, see, hold on, we'll get to you in a minute, sir. You just hold on tight. I got an introduction I got for you. So yes, he's right. It was a Thursday.
Oh, no, it's fine.
No, you're good. But I just want to give you the proper introduction before the world sees you. It was about 15 years ago. He's right. It was on a Thursday. It was karaoke night, and he was kind of standing by the stage, and I kind of was standing by him, and I kind of recognized him because I told you this, Vince, and I've told him this. I was from like my teenage years all the way to like my early adulthood. I was a huge MTV head. And it wasn't because of I loved watching music videos. So it was mainly because of that. But then, of course, MTV stopped fucking doing music, and it was just reality shows at one point. But I loved all their content. So I grew up watching this show. And I remember the movie. I remember they did a television show based off the movie because the movie did so well. They had albums. It was the show Together. And I was a huge fan of that show. I remember literally sitting in front of the TV in my room watching that show. I think it was like every week, and then watching the movie. I remember the big premiere leading up to the movie. We'll get into that in a minute. They did a whole it was like months and months of promotion MTV did over this film. And during the time, the boy band pop era was explosive. It was huge. Britney Spears was huge. Christina Aguilera, obviously the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. They were the pop world was exploding. So that's what the show was based on. So I kind of recognized him. So back to that night, I kind of recognized him. I was like, I don't. Okay, he looks like the guy. So we started talking, and somehow we got into the conversation of Together. And I'm just explaining to this guy again. I hope he remembers this. I'm pretty sure I was under the influence of alcohol as I was doing this. So I'm kind of explaining to him like, yeah, man, it was this really good show I used to watch. It was called Together, and da 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 da. It was about a boy band, and I'm explaining to him the plot of the show, literally. And then at one point, rest in peace, by the way. The actor that played QT passed away. It was tragic, very sad. At one point, we got into that conversation, and I was just like, yeah, man, it was so sad. The guy that played QT passed away, and I was like, that must have been really sad for the cast. And I was like, damn. So I'm just explaining this, and the whole time, Alex was looking at me. He's like, you know, I was on that show, motherfucker. Like, that was his look at me. He was like, you're telling me about a show I'm on, dipshit. And I was just like, oh shit, you know, he didn't say that, you know. But in my mind, I could tell the way he was looking at me. I'm sitting there explaining to him a show that I watched that he was on. And that was my introduction to our next guest. He's a great dude. He's an actor. He's a singer. I will let Vince officially bring him in, and then we'll talk to this man. Vince, take it away, my friend.
I mean, I feel like you've already sort of taken away a lot of my ammo for the introduction, but
I know.
I
get
he's
carried
an LA
away.
native, hailing from the San Fernando, hailing from the San Fernando Valley. He is an actor, singer, composer, producer, musician. You've seen him in Together, movies like Ghost World, Alpha Dog. I confused the two, and that's a different movie. He's been on TV shows like 911. We're very excited to have him on the show. ALEX SOLOWITZ.
How the hell are you, man?
I'm good. I'm doing really good. Really. I mean, well, I'm doing really good for 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
You're looking like a badass right there, dude. You got your wife beater on. You got your tattoos showing. What do you? We were talking about Deebo from Friday. You're looking like the white Deebo right now. Like you're ready to rough somebody up.
I'm actually small right now, so I'm
I'm small. You're this.
No. I usually like to keep it at 220, but I've had to lose some weight recently for a show. But it's been a journey. It's been a ride.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Quite
hey,
the
I
ride.
really don't want to cut you off. I just wanted to really thank you for coming on the show, man. And you're doing us a solid. I know you don't really. You're a very humble, sweet dude. I've known you for years. You're the sweetest dude on the planet, and I know you're very humble. But despite what you feel like, you're like our first celebrity on the show, dude. And we're a very small show, so to have the likes of you, a person with as many credits as you have, listen, you're doing it, man. So thank you for coming on the show, dude.
I appreciate you having me. Like I said, I don't feel like a celebrity. I mean, I think I deleted my Twitter account. I believe a girl called me. This is a good one. This is rich. I have to think about this one. She called me a wannabe Jake Busey's, a wannabe Gary Busey's son, Jake, who's not really his brother, who brags about being his brother.
Okay.
And I'm like,
What?
and I was like,
wow. She went in on you. What was her motivation behind that? What?
Well, you know, regardless of her motivation, I didn't say anything bad to her. She was motivating for a friend. Her friend was talking about how it would affect, and I'm not going into politics, but how it would affect the migration of animals of a 400-mile wall. And there's about 5 species of animals, and it could either affect them negatively or positively. Scientifically, I actually looked into this because I look into everything. And she just called me a douche. She didn't call me a douche. Her friend called me a douche. That was the one. And he's like, oh yeah, this guy's a total douche. And then she went into the Jake Busey wannabe Jake Busey's brother who bragged about being an extra on some show that was with Dave Spade that I did 20 years ago.
Oh, Just Shoot Me. Yeah, I saw that on your
page.
Yeah. That was a great show.
The fact that she took the time to go into that type of depth to insult you is she must have a lot of time on her. That's a lot of typing.
Yeah,
that's a lot
and
of typing
you know what?
To do.
It really hurt me, and it didn't hurt my ego so much. Is I haven't drank in 6-7 years now. So
congrats, man. Congrats on your sobriety, dude.
I may have been a douche back then, but I don't remember being a douche to this specific woman. I think she just went at the jugular, and I didn't know how to take it. I was like, wow. That's
I've noticed that when it comes to, and we won't get into like full politics or anything, but just like with the broadest of strokes, I've noticed that when you argue with someone on Twitter and you are opposite, especially a celebrity or a public figure, and you don't agree with them, a lot of times it goes to like cutting down their accomplishments. And I've seen a lot of actors, celebrities, musicians who I don't agree with personally politically, but when people are like, oh, they're like washed up or like no talent, I'm like, that's just not true. Like they're like they put together like a body of work. They're very good. It's just a political difference.
And it's just it's just incredibly petty too. Like it's what are you doing with your day to where you have to kind of go out of your way to try to just anybody, even a celebrity, like
I have a problem.
What is she doing with her life?
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't even have her real name or anything like that. I don't even have a, like, it wasn't a political difference. It was, I think I put something like, in the grand scheme of things, a 423-mile wall and the migration of the animals is probably on the lower end of the list of what needs to be done. I mean, we got people starving. We got people kicked out of their houses. I have friends not being able to feed their families. And I put that above a roadrunner not being able to go from Mexico to California, Texas. I just do. And I'm an animal person, like my dog's my best friend. So it wasn't even a political, it was just I was a douche because I look like a douche. And the funnier thing is I was a 350-pound kid. So I grew up a heavy kid. I was made fun of my entire life. The only thing I know how to do is play music and sing. I mean, that's it. I pick up any instrument and just play it. And God blessed me with the ability to sing a little bit. So, and acting's not a big leap, from doing that. So I actually suspended my Twitter account because of it. I don't know if I was hurt or just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Situations like that sometimes make you reevaluate things. I've known you for a while. You're a pretty strong dude. You're a pretty strong-willed dude. I definitely think you're a talented gentleman. And when it comes to like internet trolling, like it comes with the territory, man. And I mean, you handled it the best way you felt the best way you felt you needed to handle it. And maybe sometimes it's the best to do that. Social media can be really toxic, dude. Believe me, there have been plenty of times, which is why I don't argue with people. I've told Vince this many times. I rarely comment on people's statuses. I rarely get into debates. I might, whenever I post something, it's usually entertainment related, comedy related, music related, or wrestling related, or you know, sometimes I'll get into politics if I feel, obviously as a person of color, if I feel bothered by something, I'll express myself because I feel I need to voice my
Absolutely.
opinion. That other than that, dude, I kind of I take social media very lightly, and but even with that, there's still been times where I'm like, I need to take a break from this shit, dude. And I think you did
Yeah.
what you felt was healthy for you in the moment.
I
So
mean, what I did
nothing wrong with that.
was I apologized to her. I said, look, you know, this is 7, 8, 9 years ago. And if I did anything, which I know I didn't, I probably just walked into the room and I hated James Beach, you know, and she just felt it necessary to go for the jugular. But I mean, it's just like, I just, it hurt. You know, I mean, it hurt. It was like, I don't have much of an ego. I'm a pretty humble guy, and I can take most things. But like, you know, to say something like that when I didn't provoke it is, I thought was just out of play, and I just had no use for it anymore.
No, totally, man. Listen, like I said, you did what you felt was healthy for your mental state at that moment. And hopefully that girl gets her shit together because she sounds like she just has a lot of time to rehash something either from years ago or just who knows, dude. It's just
Yeah,
this is what
yeah,
this is the world we're in now. Social media and trolls. But
yeah.
I did want to open up officially. I mean, you've been talking about yourself, and that's fine, and you're actually already starting to give us a backstory. But I do like to open the show with as far as the interviews when it comes to my guests. And you're more than welcome to answer this if you're okay with it. But I always
Uh,
like to ask about upbringing, man. Where were you born? And then of course Vince can piggyback off of this and kind of continue that wave on the question. But tell the people where you were born and kind of tell us about your childhood, man, your upbringing.
well, I mean, I was born in Fontana. Then I lived in Palm Springs for a while. And I had a mom who was heavily involved in narcotics, and I had a very straight dad who made the money.
Mhm.
And my dad got divorced to my mom, and they split, and I went to live with my mom. And where we being me and my sister we were pretty heavily abused while we were there, and then. My dad took us, thank God. But by him taking us, that meant that we were living in a bakery because he's a baker, and we would sleep on a pull-out couch. I remember he'd go to Blockbuster Video and rent movies, and we, sleep on the couch. He'd bake all night, take us to school in the morning, and then in the daytime he would sleep and then pick us up from school. So he was a hero.
Yeah. So what age were you go with like you and your sister to your dad?
I would say it was about 8.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to live with my mom from 6 to 8. Didn't work out. And she just took off. And my dad had raised us. So we were living at the bakery and going to school, and then he picked us up. It was normal.
Think we're losing you connection wise, brother.
That was unordinary. Really?
Okay, no, you're back.
Oh, no, you're back. You're back. You're back. You're good.
You kind of got frozen there for a second.
Okay.
I thought it was me.
Yeah, sorry. Just let me know if that happens again.
For once, it wasn't Vince. For once it wasn't Vince. So continue.
So we lived in the bakery. We didn't want for anything. We didn't realize we were poor. We didn't realize really anything. Again? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
You hear me, but
the connection's kind of going in and out. It's kind of going in and out. Yeah.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can fix this problem.
Also, let me
Just
check
one
my
second.
internet as well. Make sure. I think we're good on my end.
I think
Yeah,
we're
let me
good.
see.
We're always good on my end.
Yeah, let me see.
I don't ever have these problems, Vince. I don't, where are you guys getting your phones from?
No, the only
Uh,
the only problem on your end is like the video. It's like we don't care what we're seeing so much. If you
Oh,
can put like a filter or some sort of gauze
burn,
over it, we could
burn.
maybe be a lot happier.
Took you 5 months to think of that joke. 5.
That's not gonna work.
I've known you were ugly before, prior to 5 months.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am pretty, motherfucker. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the pretty player.
Hey, if you want me to be a hater, I'll be a hater.
But the haters gonna hate. How you
Am
doing
I-
down there?
Am
Are you
I?
giving us? I feel like you're giving us a tour of your house now at this point.
Yeah, really. Am I? I know, right? Is my internet working now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it from here.
We see your very muscular chest, but yeah, we hear you.
Hold on. Now I'm pulling up.
Yes, here,
All right.
folks. Here on
So-
Popcorn and Booze.
Yeah.
Oh, now your picture's gone.
Why is it gone? Oh, wait,
Oh, we can hear you.
Boom.
Wait,
can
let's
hear
see if
you.
let's see if I can get his.
Wait, why is my picture gone?
You might have hit the.
I'm asking you to start your video. Let's see if you get something there.
You're supposed to start your video. Okay, cool.
Hit there we go. So yes, here, folks on Popcorn and Booze, we give it to you raw. This is what we do here, you guys. You're seeing the making, and the making again. This is all behind the scenes stuff. But no, continue what you were saying, man.
So I mean, we had, I never wanted for anything. I really, I didn't know I was poor. I didn't know I was different. I didn't know anything. My dad gave us a good life. So much proud.
Yeah, no, he sounds like he was a pretty stand-up guy, man. That's awesome,
Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned that like you are into music and like we're really into music and like just like play anything and sing. Like around what age were you starting to get into that?
Young, maybe 9, 8. It was just an escape. It became really easy to me. I was a really heavy kid. My heaviest was like 350, 375.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I worked out a lot, and you get such a different perspective on life, how people view you and how people see you when you, especially in high school, because kids in high school can be so mean, like so mean. Like, and I remember there's very few things that I remember in my life that made me want to lose the weight. One was I was in a wife beater and some guy asked to feel my boobs, and that wrecked me. I never wore a wife beater after that again. The next was a girl I really liked didn't like me. That made me cry on the 405 freeway, which is an LA freeway, all the way home listening to Matchbox 20.
Oh no, what's terrible.
Shame was the song on the radio. And then willpower. I just said, you know what, that's it. That's enough. I'm doing it. I'm losing the weight.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's good that you took that step, man. It is sad that we live in a society to where mocking makes people want to take a step to do towards something. Because, like you said, man, and let me be 100% honest with you and divulge to you, man. I was horribly bullied and teased and made fun of as a kid as well. I was a chubby kid. I'm still a big dude, but I keep it's a lot tighter now. All the chubbiness is more in my face than the body. The body's a lot tighter, but
I'll
no, as a
send you a
kid,
picture.
all right. No, man, the same thing. As a kid, throughout junior high, all the way to high school, dude, I was bullied, teased, made fun of, just for being. I was always deemed the annoying kid, and it was just more so people just didn't like. I was just very vibrant and full of life. I wanted to be accepted. We all do as a kid, and when
Yeah.
you have, especially miserable people, but even kids, kids are young and they're miserable with themselves. They project that misery onto people. So it's just it is sad when you have to the motivation has to be from being belittled for people
Yeah.
to take a step, man. But this is the
And
society
it's a
we live in, man.
certain, yeah, it's a certain belittle. It's a like, I've had enough.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You
this
get sick of it.
is enough, you know? And and it stopped. But during that process, before, I learned how to pick up a guitar because I had no friends, you know? So the things that I gained, being able to talk and listen as opposed to just be the loudmouth kid in school, was something I was, you know? I was like every girl's friend, you know? And even some of them that I liked. And it was difficult, but it was doable.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is something that you were able to sort of turn into drive and motivation, and obviously have spun into a successful career. How did you get your foot in sort of the door of the entertainment business?
Okay. Well, there's two ways. One way was there was this open call for a commercial agent called Cunningham E. Decline. And there was gotta be 1,000 kids there. And basically, they just wanted, we waited, me and my stepmother waited all day long to go into a room with 6 other people and say, hi, my name's Alex Solowitz and I want to go to Disneyland. Okay, thanks. Have a nice day. You know, literally, that was it, right? So, out of all those people, I was one of 4 that they picked out, obviously because of my differences. And acting, your differences are what makes you, not your, not your similarities. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're unbelievably attractive, or you know, or unbelievably the other way around, you're not going to get much of a look. But
Yeah.
if you are your own, this guy kind of looks like nobody, you know, like it's an advantage. And I'm personable.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed just like Laren sort of like schooled me. I've seen you throughout the years, but he sort of gave me like a little reel package to sort of just get the meat and potatoes of some of your stuff that I had seen in the past. And there's like I don't know, there's a really good subtlety that I enjoy. Like it's especially that scene where you were talking to Emil Hirsch in Alpha Dog, where it's just like you're not even acting. You're just like you're saying it and you're being real, but it doesn't seem like it never for a second do you think, oh, that guy's acting. He's just being in it, and it's quite a lot of fun to watch.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Let me tell you, I can tell when an actor's done drugs or hasn't done drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fake some things. You know, you can't act your way around them. Leonardo, I am sure, is not a heroin addict, but like he did an excellent job portraying one. Or Basketball Diaries.
Yeah. Good film. Very good film.
Yeah. So, but you know, there's certain I don't know. I can't explain it. It's, you know, when you've been in all situations, and I've been in all situations, you basically just mimic those situations. Forget there's 50 people around you and a camera in front of you.
No, yeah, no, yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah.
You forget all that. You have a good script. You go from point A to point B, and the writing usually helps you get there, and you can do a little of your own. And you just pull a situation or circumstance that has happened from the past. And the best way to do that, for me at least, is music. Music is something I can relate to. Music is something I can put a specific a specific thing on. Like I can a, a specific thing that happened to me. I was listening to that song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Now, so in terms of your music background, I'm sure this is probably an obvious question, but how much did it really help you with the role of Mickey in Together?
Oh, well, I was the first one hired for the job, so it helped a lot. Mickey was a guy named Vince in high school. He was a friend of mine. And Vince was like, always like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing, dog? What's going on? Something flat. Go smoke a blunt in the black. You know what I'm saying? And like,
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna basically like you're telling the backstory, but you could actually delve deeper into that, man. I know you said you were the first person for the job, but what was the process leading up to that? Like, I always like to know the backstory. Like, did you have to audition, or like really, like how did the whole Together thing come together? Sorry, that was an accident, by the way.
Yeah, the Gunn cousins, whose brother now does Marvel movies, and the cousins are doing pretty well themselves. They had an idea. What if we could take a boy band, because they were successful at that point. Christina Aguilera just hadn't dropped her first album yet. And sorry, it was what was Christina Aguilera's first
Genie in a Bottle.
Genie in a Bottle, exactly. Came out directly before. And MTV, I think, kind of said, hey, I bet you we can get a group like Spinal Tap and make them in the Billboard Top 10. And that's exactly what they did. They shoved it down their throats.
I mean, it was a great idea, especially coming right around that time. Like you said, like boy bands were hot at the time. The music you guys did, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was well produced. It sounded good. It sounded like it could, other than the lyrics, which were obviously a little more comical. But like in terms of the actual production, but like in terms of everything else, it was like, oh, this works, and it's still catchy enough that I remember me and my friends weren't into boy bands, but we knew Calculus and we knew Say It, Don't Spray It. We knew those songs. It was cool for us to be like, oh, we're not into NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but these guys are pretty funny.
And you know,
I was in a rock band. Like I was playing with Incubus and like Head P and Static X. These are heavy rock bands. You know, minus Incubus, but like, you know, No Doubt I played with before that.
And then you end up in a pop boy band. After all those years of hard rock.
I end up in a pop boy band at a summer in MTV Summer House, Win a Date with Together, and the special guest was Incubus. So it's like I see Brandon, who I know really well, and I'm like, wow, dude. He's like, you're in a boy band. And like, we make fun of boy bands, bro. But
and you know what's funny, Alex, too? Here's the hilarious thing, and a lot of people don't know this. I was smart enough at the time to know this was a parody. You guys were doing satire. But here's a crazy thing, and me and you have talked about this many a times over the years. because of the hype of the pop world back then, and because NSYNC was so big, because the Backstreet Boys were so big, you mentioned Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, because that was such a thing, people were really taking you guys seriously. Like I remember you telling me, and I actually remember this watching the movie and the show, and
Yeah.
even hearing some of your songs. You guys' albums were going like fucking platinum, like as if you were like people were. Those albums were you were putting up numbers like in sync numbers, dude.
We couldn't believe it. We were dumbfounded. I remember going to Wango Tango and thinking I could maybe sneak, we're doing Wango Tango. Maybe I could sneak in the front row because my girl at the time was there, who was pregnant, by the way. And that was an awful idea. They had to surround us with security guards. And we were literally running. She's 7 months pregnant at the time. Literally running out of Dodger Stadium to get to the back. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Cool. And so I think I read this. You guys opened for Britney Spears like around that time too?
Yeah, we did. Oops, I did it again.
What was that like in comparison to like you said you played with like all these like hard rock bands, and then you're going on tour with like the biggest pop probably person, not just woman, probably biggest pop person at the time. Like what was that experience like?
The tours were awful. The radio shows were great. I didn't care about the money. The money came with the show and the album. A lot of bands make money off their touring.
Yeah.
In fact, most bands make money off their touring, not their album sales. In fact, when was the last time you saw an album? It's like,
yeah.
So, yeah. So I really enjoyed the radio shows because the radio shows were just like, do 3 songs. You're with some of your idols that are the top 10 musicians right now, and like you're here. And I'm like, how did I get here? All over the world.
And it was great to be a kid and view that, man. Before I even met you, like it was just cool seeing that whole thing come to fruition. So we talked about the music aspect of it, the fact that you guys were selling records, like as if you guys were in sync. You guys were, you told me, the process, the fact that you already came in as a singer. Let's focus kind of more on the acting. And by that, I mean, what was the experience like on set doing the movie? And then if you can you transition and tell us how it was transitioning from you guys doing an hour and a half movie to a weekly television show? Like, how was it on set doing the film? And then tell us about how it transitioned into the TV show.
The film was awesome because Nigel Dick directed it, who's one of my favorite music video directors. I mean, he's directed everything. Literally every song in the 80s was directed by Nigel Dick. And we got to play third person. Like, I would talk to the camera, yo, what's up, make it in the band, bring it in the band.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember? So they took all that shit out when they did the series, which is a huge mistake. Huge mistake. It should have went on as a reality television show. Is my personal opinion. And not a reality television show, but a television show in that form.
Like the Real Husbands of Hollywood, or like
a mockumentary, yeah, like a mock event,
yes. Except we're actors and we can pull it off, and they're just like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, but exactly what you're talking about. And if they would have just stuck to the formula, I always say, in music and acting, stick to your formula. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why try to fix this? And when they did that, it really, whatever. I was blessed to have done it. I was blessed to be there. And but did I think it was going to go anywhere doing that way? It was such a difference between the movie and the series that no, I didn't.
Now,
You
when you got the, do you remember getting? So you guys filmed the movie, you put it out. I said this earlier, and then again, I'm gonna kick it back to Vince. But I said this earlier. I remember the promotion for the Together movie before the show was even an
Dude.
idea, and I remember for months and months leading up to that, dude. MTV was promoting the shit out of Together, dude, and that's why the movie was such a big hit because everybody, when the movie premiered the day of, dude, everybody was glued to their TVs, dude. I was one of them, and
Yeah,
it was
we had the
basically
biggest cable turnout in history.
yeah, no, the promotion was
Wow.
incredible, dude. I still to this day remember the lead up to the Together movie. The excitement for that, how was that for you, knowing that they were promoting it so well? Did you think to yourself, "Oh my God, this is going to be a good turnout"?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know, they're like, hey, this is a new artist we're bringing. Her name's Rihanna. She wanted to talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. And she had this little cool accent, like this little, like she's from the islands and stuff, and sweet, wholesome. And now I see her, and I don't know much about her. I like her music, but that's not the girl that I saw. That's that she was way different, way different. And that's not me talking bad about her. That's just going with the times, rolling with the flow, depending on who she's hanging out with and stuff like that. But that's what I got.
Yeah, she even marketed that way. Like her album was like "Good Girl Gone Bad," and ever since then. And I mean, I'm not saying that that's just like a marketing thing. I really do think that probably from the time you were hanging out with her to like now, like everyone grows, everyone does different things, but like I didn't see it as a knock. I saw it as being like, oh, like she named her album that.
Yeah.
So in terms of the show ended, and it seems like you kind of from an audience perspective, seems like you seamlessly made a transition to like still continue acting. Like, were there any stigmas in terms of like doing like being in a boy band or doing like comedy to like going and doing like Ghost World or like Alpha Dog?
No. When you're an actor, you're an actor. You just no, I didn't see that at all. In fact, I turned down a lot of things that I shouldn't have turned down because I didn't feel like I needed it, and yeah. So I was.
Are there any things that you can tell us that you like turned down that you're kind of like, oh, like I kind of wish that like I had like gone through with that?
Just like TV shows and different films and stuff like that, but can't bring anything up. Nothing that really went anywhere. Excuse me. Yeah, but nothing that. Sorry.
You okay there?
Yeah, no, the thing fell. But
was it because now were you turning these down because they were trying to keep you in that boy band Together bubble? You were trying to progress? Was it that?
No, they gave me a show. MTV gave me a show called Who Knows the Band. And I did a couple episodes and then they fired me. And then I was never to hear from them again.
Yeah.
Except for Hard Times at RJ Berger. I played well, actually one of my best friends, Jared plays was one of the second lead on that show. And I played his brother, who was this combat vet that came back all messed up from Iraq, so it was very cool. So that was the only other MTV show I believe I did after that, which I kind of felt bad about because like I worked my ass off and I thought I was a work ethically speaking, I thought I did a really good job.
I mean that show, the movie and the show was just, it was so well put together, and it was just so creative, and I think you guys all collectively did a good job. And not just the singing, but the acting, the comedy. It was a well written show, and it's something that was a staple of my childhood. And to end up being a friend of yours was just really cool because I literally used to watch you on that show. Real quick, I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up, because we've talked about this personally, me and you. Um, tragically, I can't remember his name. Tragically, the actor that played QT on that show and in that movie,
Michael
passed.
Puccioni.
Yeah, he passed away not long after the success of that. How first of all, and again, we've talked about this, but for our viewers, if you would like to dive into this, we don't have to, but if you want to give me how you felt.
No, I will.
Yeah,
I'll tell you where my head was at.
yeah. How did you feel, man? Because I didn't know. I don't think it was a big announcement back then. I think it was until years later. Or and here's the thing, to be honest with you, it might have been. It literally might have been around the time I met you when I found out that he had passed away. And how did that affect you? And how was he on set?
Well, look, me and him were making the same amount of money. At the time, we were the highest paid people along with Carson Daly on MTV. I mean, after the movie hit, we got to pick our price, which was very cool. But Mike, because of his limitations, he could not work, these 12-hour days, 13-hour days. And I thought it was all bullshit. I thought he's lying. I thought this is bullshit. He's in remission. He's fine. And then, I remember when we were doing the pirate episode. It was one of the last shows, if not the last show. It was a pirate episode, and I remember him going, and it was freezing outside, and they said, "Why don't you take him home?" And his mom said, "Yeah, take him to the doctor's." And their car got stuck, and it was freezing outside. Right? I mean, freezing outside. And I remember thinking, now he's in the hospital. Oh my God. Like, this is a serious deal. Like, this isn't all bullshit. This is a real thing. Because he was always so strong, like he was always like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. He went, like he was like Rocky. You know what I mean? Like he would be,
Yeah.
I'll do it. Like, kill me, I'll do it. And he didn't want to leave, I remember. But when he was doing that, and then he left. And aside from the hospital, that was the last time I saw him again. I went to visit him in the hospital, but he couldn't talk. And what was very interesting is he wrote a journal to talk to us. And we would ask him a question, "How are you doing?" And he would write back. And I'll tell you, at the funeral, to read, his father read the dialogue between a son and a father, last moments. And I felt like an ant being stepped on. I don't think I've ever felt that bad in my life.
Yeah, that must have been tough to hear. Yeah, that must have been real tough.
I mean, David Hasselhoff was there, and he played a song that was completely inappropriate, which made me laugh a little bit, which helped a little bit, because anytime you say the word David Hasselhoff or him playing a song, They
Okay,
smoked.
what the hell? What the hell? Listen. I know.
Oh my God.
Hold on. I know we're talking about a serious thing, and rest in peace to Mike, man. I'm not. We're not making fun of or making light of the death, but only David Hasselhoff, only he can be the man that comes to a funeral and plays something inappropriate. That's wow. Okay.
Okay, so it's a whole pew. Thousands of people came to his funeral. Thousands. I mean, it was the biggest church they had, and it was stretched outside. It was thousands and thousands, tens of thousands probably. And and I remember David Hasselhoff with Entertainment Tonight. Wait, it gets better. With Entertainment Tonight, telling the camera crew to follow him here. Follow me here while I talk to the parents. Follow me here.
Oh my God! Wow!
His
Wow!
speech was this. Well, Mike, sorry you had to go. You were a ham, just like me. So I'm going to play a little song I wrote for you. And everybody in the MTV pew put their heads down and started cracking the fuck up. I swear to you. I mean,
was he drunk? What?
He was. I don't know what he was on. I don't know what he was doing. All I know is it was unbelievable.
Listen,
Did they have like a relationship? Like were they like like were they friends? Did they work together on something?
Okay, so of course, Baywatch did a cancer episode. Who's the token cancer kid? Michael Cuccione. Yeah. So they did work together. They did have some, back and forth. How close they were, I don't know. I was with the kid every day for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. He didn't say shit about David Hasselhoff, except for
I mean, this story took a left.
Yeah, like one show he did. Like, I mean, and when I saw, I mean, we were all broken down. And when we saw David Hasselhoff, I don't know, man. I mean, it wasn't relief, but it was just like, God, there is some fucking humor here. Like there is,
Well, you know what they say, man.
Like, even you telling the story right now, like it was a buildup. Like we could feel like just like the pain from you and the rest of the bandmates and actors, and then talking about his father and the journal and everyone being there, and I think I can speak for Laren when it's like I'm starting to feel a certain way as you're telling us, and then you're like, and then David Hasselhoff was there, and I was kind of like, okay, that's interesting, and then you're like, played a song that was pretty inappropriate, and then it's kind of like there was that relief just from us hearing it, so I can't imagine like the relief that you had actually going through it and living through it.
I was bawling when I heard the pages read back and forth, father, son, I was bawling. And as soon as David Hasselhoff took that he tore down my wall. He tore down my wall.
I have to say, it's always a good phenomenal day. It's always a good day when Knight Rider comes to a funeral. I want to move along, man. I do want to say rest in peace to Mike, and thank you, Alex, for not only talking about that, but telling us that amazing story. That is a Popcorn and Booze exclusive. That is a first. we have the David Hasselhoff exclusive. That is amazing.
That is exclusive.
It is, man. But I do want to say rest in peace to Mike. I wanted to ask you, and then I'm again kick it back to Vince. Maybe he has some follow-up questions. I want to ask about Alpha Dog, man. Just whatever gems you have about that. How was it on set? How was it working with? I mean, they had an all-star cast, but you had with Justin Timberlake. It was you. Who else was in that film? Refresh my memory.
Emil Hirsch.
Emil Hirsch. Justin Timberlake. It was you. Who else?
Justin Timberlake.
Anton
Yelchin, who's dead. Rest in peace.
Passed away. Passed the peace. Yeah.
Great kid. Bruce Willis. Sharon Stone.
Ben Foster was in it too, right?
And Foster played a major role in it.
Yeah, it was stacked.
It was who else? Oh my gosh, she's huge too. Or she used to be really, really big. Dark Angel from Dark Angel.
Jessica Alba
was in.
Jessica Alba was in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys know you guys had a hell of a cast. I remember seeing that some years ago, and what was that, about 2006?
Actually, I'm sorry. Jessica Alba was not in the show. She was not in the movie. I'm thinking about Never Been Kissed. I'm sorry. Jessica Alba.
Oh, gotcha.
That was another big.
It's like 25 years here of going.
That was another big movie. Yeah, we'll get into Never Been Kissed in a second, but yeah, tell us about your experience with Alpha Dog, man.
It was great. The premiere, it was Nick Cassavetes, probably one of the coolest, most awesome directors I've ever worked with in my entire life. I'll give you. You want to hear another exclusive?
No, lay it on us, sir, please.
Nobody knows this. Okay, so
another PMB exclusive, you guys. Let's go.
So there's a scene where Dominique Swain is coming in, getting at Justin Timberlake about what's going on, what really is going on, right? And she's frantic and she's supposed to be crying and everything, and she walked in. I thought she did a great job. Dominique Swain is a great actress, and Nick had also casted her in another movie called Face Off with Nick Cage and
Travolta.
Exactly. Travolta.
God, I love that. I love Face Off.
Oh, great movie. So
that's funny. The only thing, real quick, the only thing I actually had to look this up. I didn't know much about him. The only thing I knew Nick Cassavetes from, I think that's how you pronounce the name. He was the warden of the prison in the movie Life with Martin and Eddie. And I remember seeing him in that, and I was just like, I've seen him in something else. And then I noticed he was a director. I didn't know he was a director. Like I literally only knew him from the movie Life with Eddie and Martin.
Who are we talking about now?
The director, Nick Cassavetes.
Yeah. He was an actor first, of course. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a director.
In Face Off. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He actually after that he got offered Iron Man and turned it down.
Wow. As a director?
As a director, turn it down.
And that went to what? That went to Jon Favreau, right? Didn't Favreau did the first one? Yeah.
Yeah, and now Favreau is multi-quadrillionaire.
He's huge, yeah. Huge filmmaker.
So, anyways, as far as the scene goes, Nick gets it out of his actors. He gets what he wants, So she runs in the door, she's like, what the fuck is going on? She's doing her scene. I thought it was great. He's like, no. This is bullshit. You go do it again. She goes out. She walks in. Does it even better with more emotion. She's a little red. He's like, what the fuck is this? You need a fucking break? You need to fucking sit down? Because this isn't the actress that I hired. Okay? So if you can't give me that, then we're either going to have to rewrite it or we're going to have to look for somebody new. Now she comes up to me because we were close, really close. And she was like, I don't know what to do. She's crying. I'm like, use it. Just use it. Use it. I could not believe he was saying this to her because I believed him, right? So it was about the 5th time, dude. And she was crying. I mean, nose bubbles, crying. Like, directors don't talk to actors like that. They just don't, right? And she wanted to get it perfect. And she came in and she fucking nailed the part. Just nailed it. And Nick goes, baby, I am so sorry, but I had to get you there.
Wow.
I was like,
nice.
Damn.
Yeah.
My ego would have been
Yeah, nice.
It would have been done. I would have. She did, man. She pushed through it.
No, for
And
her to endure.
I think
No,
it's
for her,
real.
yeah, for her to
I think it's
endure
really
that.
cool
No,
that I think it's cool that he did apologize and let it be known afterwards, because I've heard similar stories about directors who will do that, and then because they got to move on, they're like, all right, moving on, and they're just kind of like, all right, got the shot we needed, that was great,
Yeah.
but move on. So the fact that he took the time out to be like, I'm so sorry, I had to get you there,
Yeah.
and that was great. Like, I'm sure in the moment she was probably like, I don't know what she was probably thinking, but like it probably, I would think it would go, for me, it would go a long way to hear that afterwards.
Yeah,
You
it
hear-
was, and he did it in front of everybody, so everybody would know. Because we weren't really sure.
Awesome.
We weren't really sure what was going on. Like, I couldn't believe that a director was talking to an actress like this. I thought maybe because they worked on another film, they had a certain relationship. But even if, like, your homie is talking that bad about you, like, even a friend knocking you, like,
yeah, but
you
hear stories. You hear stories about that a lot, man. Apparently, I mean, maybe not the same exact thing, but apparently, what's the director of The Shining? Refresh my memory.
what it's
Vince, you know.
Kubrick.
Apparently,
Kubrick,
apparently, Stanley Kubrick literally tortured the fuck out of Shelley Duvall that entire shoot to get her to evoke the emotion he wanted her to. So you hear stories about that all the time, dude. You know, some directors just are really, that's their guerrilla style of directing, right? And some people don't agree with it, and it's good to apologize, but some directors do it, man. Some filmmakers they'll go hard on their actors, dude, to evoke that good acting.
For sure. I just, in my 25 years, had never seen it, heard it. I've never heard a director go cross. The only other time I've maybe heard something like that is a girl saying that she could roller skate and then coming to set not being able to roller skate and us having to cast somebody else. Like,
Wow.
you don't say you're a figure skater if you can't figure skate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you get
Like,
the
they're
role,
going to find
you're
out.
screwed. They're going to find out. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but this was, Swain she can pull it out. Like, she's a fantastic actress. She can do pretty much anything. So.
Well, there you go. Another Popcorn and Booze exclusive brought to you by ALEX SOLOWITZ, man. Yay! Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna kick it to you, Vince. You got any follow-up stuff, or should we move it along? What do you want to do?
I would say, you don't have to name names or anything, but like, has there ever been a time where either with the director or maybe the producers or something, like what's been like probably the best experience, if you can think of one, or like your like worst in terms of, and it's probably not going to be as bad as that, but it could be just like creative differences or just not vibing.
Best experience, easy. First film was Never Been Kissed, 1998, I believe it came out. And me, Drew, and Nancy, her partner, Flower Films, were very good friends. And they were giving me the last scene of the movie. I was only supposed to be on the movie for 2 weeks, but they extended it to like 8 weeks because they wanted me to be around. They just liked me, so they were awesome. And I remember it was the last scene of the movie where they were throwing pie they were gonna have to throw pie at my face, and I was just talking smack about Josie Grossi, blah 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 blah. And I remember before just soaking it in, enjoying it. I wasn't a drama person. I wasn't an actor, I wasn't pretending to be. I was a professional. I was learning, I was watching, I was listening. And I found a little corner and I started crying. And Nancy and Drew came up to me and they said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "Because I'm never going to work again." this is it. And they said, Alex, I swear to you, you will work again. This is how we all feel every time. This is nothing new. You know, you're going to work again. And it was, I don't know, man. It was like a God moment. It was a very cool, it's what I needed to hear at the right time. So that was definitely the best moment I've ever had in filming, for sure.
And it was good that you had it so early on, so you could be like from someone like from people who are like so big and powerful to be like, oh my God, like if you guys are saying it, I'm sure their words went a long way.
It did go a long way. I just wish I had somebody to put me in check after Together to say, hey, slow down, Tiger. You know, like you're not all that in a bag of chips. You're in a fake boy band on MTV. You know, it was stupid.
You motherfuckers weren't treated as such. I swear to God, I remember that whole era, dude. Every little white girl that I went to school with during the time were talking about you guys like you were the Backstreet Boys. So, you guys were the word, dude. You guys were the shit, dude. So
the problem is if you think you're the shit and you believe in the hype, then you start saying no to things you would never say no to because actors act and sing the same. And if there's anything I could say to the youngsters out there that get fame is to stay close to your family because if you have a good family, because they usually know best. And get all the little leeches that leech around your house, that drink all your beer, that, you know, like, that stay there for free, that bring girls over in your bedroom, and you're like, why are you in my bed right now? You know, this is my room. You know what I'm saying? Like, they treat it as if it's their own because we went to high school together, because we were boys, you know? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I just went in the wrong direction.
Now, have you had people, not just like friends, but did you have like people like come out of the woodwork, like once you started getting success, just to be sort of like, hey, I've got like an idea for like a business like thing. I just need like some money backing or like.
Oh, all the time, dude.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
All the time. Especially with the multi-level marketing, you know, like to get me, like, you know, selling garbage to people. You know, they rent out their Lamborghinis. They rent out their Lamborghinis for the day and their huge houses, and they film it, and then they have to take them home at night. And you know, they got a good clip of video, but they're selling garbage. So yeah, people did come out of the woodwork, you know, but you know, all in all, I knew who my friends were, my real friends were, you know. They always had my back, and I'll always have their back, you know.
Yeah, let's real quick, Alex. Let's talk about the film Ghost World, because I didn't even know you were in that, and I vaguely remember that film. I didn't even know you were in it. That's so cool that you were in it. The reason I want to talk about it because there's a funny. I actually have a really funny quick story that's attached to that film and who you work with. So I know you in the film you work with Thora Birch,
who's great.
Here's a funny story, dude. So when I was a kid, I think I was about 13, maybe 14. So this was like late 90s some point. I was in an acting class with a lady named Ruthie Grant. I'll never forget her. She was actually, my dad was kind of dating her at the time because him and my mom were split up. So he was dating this woman. My dad knew I wanted to be an actor. He knew I wanted to be a comedian. He knew I wanted to do music. Yeah, no, it was cool. He tried to help. So he linked me up with this lady named Ruthie Grant. Her kids were actually child actors. Her son was Bill Cosby's son in the movie Ghost Dad. You remember the movie Ghost Dad, you guys? Her her son was in that movie. He played Bill Cosby's dad, and he told me some pretty awful stories about Bill Cosby when I was in that class. But her daughter was in a bunch of, like, on Moesha. She was in all these '90s shows. So
I
this lady
probably
Ruthie,
know her.
there's a possibility. No, Ruthie Grant was she was an acting coach, but she was also a manager at the time and a talent agent. So between her kids and her clients, she was booking shit. So anyway, so my dad was seeing her at this time, and he knew what she was into. And she used to hold acting classes in her apartment. She lived in North Hollywood, and I was in North Hollywood during the time. And she lived in the Academy Apartments in the real luxury. Like, this woman had money. It was crazy. So my dad was sending me to her acting classes, and one day I'll never forget. I came in, and a little chubby white girl, and I recognized her immediately because I wasn't a fan of the movie, but I remember seeing it as a kid. You guys remember the movie Then and Now, or Now and Then, with Thora
Yeah.
Birch was
Now
in
and
it.
then, yeah.
Now and Then. So the girl in that, the chubby girl, who, by the way, it's weird. I looked it up not too long ago. She's no longer with us. She passed away. I met her. She went to that same acting class by Ruthie Grant, and I'll never forget her
Ashley has
telling
some
me.
more.
I don't remember her name. This, but she was, yeah, she was the little chubby, she was the chubby white girl in that film. And I'll never forget, one night I was in class with her, and we were talking about the movie Now and Then, because I was a little fanboy. I was like, oh my god, because I just thought it was cool. I was in an acting class with a child actor, and I was like, oh my god, you were in the movie Now and Then, and she was like, and I was like, you were in the movie with Thora Birch, and I didn't really know who Thora Birch was other than that movie.
Right.
And I'll never forget, she told me that, and obviously maybe at the time because they were kids, she said Thora Birch was horrible. She said she was the worst person on the planet. And I'm thinking about this now because you're in this movie with Thora Birch. And now, granted, this is some years later. When I was told the story, we were kids. But I do want to ask, is there any truth to what this girl from Now and Then told me about Thora Birch? Is she a horrible person?
No, not at all. Love Thora. She was a pleasure to work with, easy to work with, very professional. Did we go out and party or hang out? No. But was she cool? Yeah. I was just offered the role. I lived a mile down the way. I mean, they shot at Northridge Theater. I lived in Northridge. So it was like, I literally walked to my PJs, like, in, to work.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, she was always a sweetheart to me.
So, hey, maybe that was just that girl's experience on the set of that movie Now and Then. She was just so adamant about telling me how terrible Thora Birch was. But in hindsight, I'm like, you guys were kids. They were probably just two young girls. Probably just didn't.
I mean, as an actress or as a person?
She said she was horrible as a person. But I mean, again, let's think about the time period. They were kids when they did that movie. So, but at that time, when I met this girl,
I don't believe
when I
it.
met this girl at that time, I myself was about 13, and I believe this girl was maybe about 15 or 16 at the time. And the movie had came out maybe 2 or 3 years earlier. So I don't know. I just had to ask because she was like, "Oh my God, Thora is," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Thora's not exactly the popular kid at school, like.
So maybe that might have been what it is. Maybe, yeah.
So like she was just like a normal sweetheart little girl. She was funny, witty, very professional, knew all of her lines, and that's really all I care about. Is if you're there on time, you know your lines, you know how to get there, and you help me with it, with my part. And if you can do that, you're a superstar in my book. Now, if you go and talk shit to everybody and you're an asshole, then I'll call you out on it. But there are not too many of those around. Because people don't want to work with them. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
That scene was hilarious. The
movie theater, yeah.
Her just like not
popcorn.
Quite. Yeah. Not fitting in, and like obviously getting her 2 cents in, and you just like exasperated, but not like flipping out, just kind of like no, don't do this. It was hilarious.
And you did some really good. in that scene, you did some really good deadpan humor. Like you were like playing a manager, but you had like funny lines. So it was very dry, but it was like you were doing some good, like very good deadpan humor in that scene. So
Thank
kudos
you
to you
very
on that.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, this, yeah, there's a lot. I've had a lot of really good experiences. I've had a lot of bad experiences, but our experiences are how we learn. So.
Cool. We're sort of getting around the time where we're probably gonna have to like wrap this up. I'm sure we could go for 5 hours talking about your career, and I don't want to speak for Laren, but I'm sure at some point if you want to come back, you're more than welcome to do
Sure,
that. We'd love to talk to you. My last question before I kick it to Laren has actually nothing to do with your career. It had to do with your reactions during the Tiny Lister talking. When Laren brought up No Holds Barred, I can see you like we're literally like when you're like it's a terrible movie, you're like. So I didn't know if there's anything there that you wanted to like talk about.
That is a terrible fucking film, dude. That's an awful film.
Okay. First of all,
we lost. Oh, there you go.
I thought
terrible
it was the
movie.
Best film ever at the time. I saw it in the theater, I believe. And then I saw it again years later and got what you meant. Like, because I was all into it when it came out. I mean, I was like,
yeah, we loved it as a kid. I thought it was great as a kid. I watched that shit when I got older. I was like, I like this pile of garbage. Wow, this is awful.
Yeah. Awful. So hard.
No, you had a very passionate reaction, but we couldn't hear you. So it's like, oh, like I feel like we need to hear what this was.
And Tiny Lister is amazing. He's sad to see him go. We've got Sean Connery.
Did you ever work with him at all, or cross paths with him, or any? I mean,
yeah.
With Tiny Lister.
Hollywood's a tiny little town, so I pretty much come across everybody.
Yeah.
In as long as I've been around. But he kind of made me think of. He's definitely different. But what's his name? Not Vin Rames, but the flutist. He plays flute.
Oh,
professionally, and he can make his boobs jiggle like.
Oh, no,
Terry Crews.
Terry
Crews.
Yeah.
One of the great. I just love this guy. I mean, he's so. Like. I don't know. I really like Terry Crews.
I love that. Yeah. He makes his boobs jiggle. I love how you.
Anyone that can make their boobs
Susie
jiggle,
said it. We got it.
He did, yeah. But that sums up his career. Terry Crews can make his boobs jiggle. So that.
But he can play the flute. He's a professional flute player too.
Yeah, he's played on Brooklyn Nine-Nine a few times.
Flautist, yeah.
Well, like Vince said, man, we're gonna kind of wind this down, man. I want to thank you for coming on the show. We're not gonna end it quite yet, but we are gonna wind it down. And I actually wanted to say, and this probably will be my last question, and again, I would love if Vince maybe just does a follow up of the question I'm about to ask.
Sure.
And here's the funny thing. I think the times me and you have actually hung out, I think this is another thing we've talked about, and I think you might have posted something on Facebook about this as well, man. I mean, you're still a young man, man. You still got a big career ahead of you. You got
Not that young. I'll be 41 in 2 days. So
you're young, dude. You're a young man.
41. You're gonna look back at 41 and be like, God, I was a young kid back then.
Dude, 41 ain't shit, dude. You're young. You're a kid.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of mileage on you, brother. You got a lot of mileage. With that being said, what is the ultimate as an actor or even as a singer? Because I know we didn't really talk too much about your singing. I know you're an excellent singer as well. Me and you have sung karaoke songs together.
Many a time.
Many a times, man. At Barney's Beanery, Saddle Ranch, all the places we used to hang out.
Many a times that we sung together.
Oh, it was great, dude. And I miss those. We'll get back to those days soon, man. But no, I wanted to ask, as a singer, as an actor, or just as an entertainer, period, what is your dream role and what is your dream song, or ultimately and essentially, what do you what's on your bucket list? I should ask. What have you not accomplished that you want to accomplish?
Well, I mean, I pretty much worked with every actor I can think of that I really want to work with. I don't know. I'd like to be given a shot to do a real film, you know, a whole film, a real, you know, not just be the character guy. Just, you know,
Yeah.
go and see what I can do. And I may not be able to do it, but I think I can. And I think with age I get better. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, I've learned a lot, and I worked very hard. I think with the COVID, we've lost a lot of the, you know, personal relationships that we have with the casting directors. I don't get to meet and greet them anymore, you know, where they used to fight for me because they liked me as a person because I'm personable. I don't get that anymore. I make a self tape and I throw it out into the world of what they call the internet. And yeah. And then who knows what happens to it from then, you know? And then they got me on, I'm pinned for a show, for a really good show.
Congrats, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't really talk about it right now, but I am pinned for it from January to April. And if I somehow, it's not that they want me for the role, it's just about doing the role. If I can somehow do this role, this will give me another bite of the apple.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. I know you said one of your I think you have posted this, but I remember seeing something on Facebook about the movie Joker with Joaquin Phoenix being like kind of an inspiration for you to want to do roles like that or have a leading Oscar winning type situation.
Yeah, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix was amazing, but then, you know, I realized I was doing this in the mirror. Sometimes I do it. Actually, I do it all the time. I cry, I laugh, and I cry. You know, laughing and crying are very similar. To go from a laugh to a cry is a pretty easy thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. It's an easy transition. Yeah.
It's an easy transition because they're both you know, they're both huge I mean, they're so close, they're so tied in with one another, you know? They're like,
it's like an outburst of emotion just on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Exactly. And I tried doing that just for shits and giggles to see if I could do it, because it'll come up regardless if I'm the next Joker or not. It'll come up where I'll have to go from some sort of a laugh to a cry. So I wanted to see if I could do it. And I just went in the mirror and went at it. And that's what we do as actors. We do that. We need to hone our skills. You know, I've never taken an acting class. You know, it's just the mirror is my acting class. You know, Rehearsal Pro Part 2 is my acting class. So, you know, it's just life, mimicking situations that I've been in my life. And trust me, I have been in every situation in life, every situation. So.
And that's stuff that like acting classes can't necessarily teach. Not to say that acting classes are bad, but like you said, there's like life experience where you can tell when some people haven't quite lived it and someone who has lived it.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Unless they're extremely good.
Right.
Unless they're just on another level, really, really good. And I don't know. They're either really, really good or they have some coaching or something. I don't know. But, you know, it's just really listening to what the other person is saying, soaking it in, and then regurgitating what you have to say back to get you to the point to where you need to be. That's acting. That's it.
And acting is very, very liberating, man. It allows you to be something you probably have never dreamed about being. It allows you to express yourself in a way you probably wouldn't normally express yourself. And I, I say this on the show all the time. Much like yourself, I carry many hats. I'm a comedian. I'm a rapper. I'm an actor. And when I bouncing between these things, man, it's liberating and therapeutic for me personally because I feel I could be something I never thought I could be, especially when I was younger. I didn't have the confidence. Being an entertainer, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Being an entertainer has given me a lot of self confidence. It really has a lot of self confidence I did not have growing up. And when I first recorded a song, when I first got in front of the camera, when I first jumped on stage and did acting, whether it was theater, camera work, the first time I ever stood on stage and did stand up comedy, I I felt good about myself,
Yeah.
and that's what I love about being an entertainer. But that's what I love specifically about being an actor,
Yeah.
and dealing with other actors like Vince and yourself, man. It's liberating. It's
You know,
liberating.
you go. I remember being a kid being made fun of, and the only thing I had was my voice at the time. And I would go in and I could change your room. I could change your room. I could change the way you perceived me based on my voice.
That's powerful. That's very powerful.
And that's what I saw. I could change the way you saw me as a person with my voice, and I can change the way you see me as a person as an actor. Most people think I'm a douchebag, because I always play douchebags. I'm a fucking teddy bear. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You really are.
I have
You really are.
I have moments.
And this is coming from a person who knows you personally. You
For
are
a
a big teddy
long
bear.
time.
Yeah, you're a teddy. You're a great guy, dude. You've never been a douchebag to me. So
Yeah. I would never do that. So yeah.
and that's great, man. And that's what this is all about, man. And we're gonna go ahead and take it to the end and wrap this up, man. But I do want to say that I'm looking forward to seeing more projects from you. I'm looking forward to working with you soon. We haven't really done, I know we've been talking for 15 years about doing shit, and uh, I think it's crazy that the first time we worked together was when we did TMI Hollywood, and
I know.
I've known you for so long, dude, and now we're in this COVID situation and it's a lot harder, but it just reminds you how much time can go by, and it also reminds you of when it's time to what it say, strike while the iron's hot. You just got to do it, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing personally stuff from you as an actor, but I'm also looking forward to working with you,
Well,
whether it be music or acting. Let's get it in, man. I listen. I got some stuff in the works that I've been throwing towards Vince. He's partner in crime, just not on the show. But I'll tell you, like I told our last guest, who is a filmmaker that I'm working with. I'm just all about working, man, bridging gaps and building families. And for every guest I could bring on this show, I want to bridge a gap between the show, the person, Vince, whoever. I'm just all about bringing people together, man. So I wish you the best of luck in everything you do, brother.
from your mouth to God's ears, my friend.
And you're a stand-up guy, man. That's the good thing about it. It's nice knowing. I know you as the performer and the talent that you are, but it's nice knowing you personally and knowing that I could reach out to you and be like, hey, Alex, dude, come on the show, tell your story. And it's good to have good people like you in especially in a
You could
situation
be
like
like,
this.
hey, Alex, it's midnight. I'm drunk and I don't have a ride home, and I pick you up.
And you are that dude. You have proven to me over the years. You have proven I've never been drunk anywhere, but now that I know that, I am going to get absolutely obliterated tonight and then call you. So, Vince, you got any last parting words, man?
I just want to say thanks again, Alex. I know you're working hard, and Sunday's like kind of your off day. So the fact that you took some time out to talk to us, share some very great stories, and drop some gems on us, like we truly appreciate it. Thank
Boy.
you.
Oh boy, that Hasselhoff story is going in the P&B history books.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exclusive.
All right, folks. So we're gonna
All
go
right,
ahead and
guys.
take it to the outro, man. I want to thank my guest, my good friend Alex. I want to thank you once again, man. We're definitely gonna close out the show. You're more than welcome to stick around, but you get to witness the magic that is the outro of the show. So I want to thank all. I want to thank our guests. I want to thank you, obviously, Vince,
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man,
Thank you.
For helping me interview this gentleman. Some great questions, some great stuff. And with that being said, folks, we have reached the end of the greatest show on the earth, guys. You already know. Me and Vince, we do this thing, and when we do this thing, we bridge gaps, we bring creative minds. Hell, we even talk about David Hasselhoff being drunk at a funeral, if that's what he was. I firmly believe he was. But then again, I wasn't there.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying, listen, I this is for another episode, but I have a funny David Hasselhoff story too, where I actually witnessed this man very drunk. I'll tell you guys another time. But you guys have reached that turning point where we have to now close it out and say goodbye to all our viewers here. The POPCORN, the BOOZE.
That's new. That's never been done, so I'll get that.
And it flew together so well. You guys, you know who I be. You know who I am. I am the man. I am the master. And I am the ruler of the world. I am the wheeling dealing. Yeah, Ric Flair, baby. Jet flying. Jabroni beating. Laying the smackers down on your candy ass. I am the chapstick using. Look at that. Gotta put that on there. I am. Vince already knows where I'm going with this. I am the solo cup. Red cup. I want all the smoke. Street profits. I need all that smoke. I am the it's a pandemic, you guys. I have to always remind you because you people forget. You forget people are dying. You got to wear your mask and use this right here. So you got to give you a little bit of that right there. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Bam. And then you rub it in and then you put it on your joints like you used to do with Robitussin. I am the water drinking, because you got to flush out your system, guy who's fly and you just can't top them. I go by the name of LAREN Maxstar Moore.
I'm Vince Eustace. Just want to wish again happy, I guess, early birthday. We're recording, but by the time it's released, it'll already be your birthday. But happy birthday to Alex. He's got a birthday coming up as well.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, sir. And with that being said, I love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Gotta go.